Hey guys, Dark Humility here with a brand new, awesome, smashing build. We are on the closed beta for Season 11, playing a Claws of Thunder Assassin. Now, I think I promised you guys last season I would do a new version of it this season, and it was changed a couple seasons ago. And with the new Claw, there's actually possibilities that kind of might blow your mind in terms of tanking for an iron golem. So I'm going to show this at like the very highest level, what this would look like if you wanted to really fully invest and even use a golem up in here. Use an infinity golem, which is super expensive, but if you're drowning in high runes and you don't do certain maps with open wounds, you have the defensive potential to do it, which is pretty awesome. But anyway, as a disclaimer, anything from the beta can change when the final patch notes come out, and of course, we have not been able to test corruptions except at the very end here, so I only managed to make it +2 Annie. But so for the most part, you could have a lot more sustain or even more damage in a lot of cases, particularly like plus skill corruptions and whatnot on the claws. But facets are also really good, as you guys will see. And so I'm going to show you guys this really awesome approach of using 2 shadows and a golem for really high tankiness and survivability, even without fade. So I'm actually going to run it without fade and with actually not even max res, just to show you guys how that works. But yeah, Claws of Thunder is like one of my favorite abilities in the game. You'll know this because I even did early game with it, farming Arcane, I think in Season 9, and we played Dayz of Thunder all day, and it was pretty sick event there. But anyway, we'll go over the stats, the skills, the mercenary, the gear, and then of course we'll do the demo in that order, which we always do in these mini guides and demos. And of course, make sure to check out all my other build guides from last season. Even Season 9 ones are very relevant for the most part. There might have been some changes since then, and of course some changes from 10. But I'm trying to show off the biggest change builds here, the ones that I feel are most interesting overall. So this is your representative from the Marshall tree here in the assassin build guide videos that I'm creating here. Phoenix Strike might be the very strongest still, but this is just really sick and it's really powerful and it looks really cool. And I don't think I've actually made the video on how it looks 100% yet, so maybe this will tip the scales and make you want to play it. Anyway, also look forward to my tier list, the Sacred Tablets, as Reddit has called them recently. They'll be showing up May 13th, May 14th, after the final patch notes drop, and of course, the new season will be starting 10 PT May 16th. Anyway, let's do this mini guide and demo. Let's get into these stats. So enough strength to wear your gear, enough dex to wear your gear, and enough dex to have decent attack rating. That being said, attack rating doesn't seem to be much of a problem as long as you max out Claw Mastery, so not in this build anyway. Don't really need bonus dex to achieve it in any way, shape, or form. Vitality, just put the rest in a Vitality. And then res is important if you can get it. DR can be important. You can even run this with Storm Shield or, you know, Spirit Ward or a bunch of other things with max block and put more points into dex, which can make you even tankier in hardcore. We're actually using claw block here, so we have 50% chance to block, which is nice. We're going to hit that max attack speed frame. Make sure you're doing that with burst of speed. You can use fade as well for more DR, curse, duration reduction, and res. But if you do that, you're going to have to make sure you have a lot more attack speed on your gear, which we do not have enough of without burst of speed. You'll just have to take my word for it. We're hitting a good faster hit recovery frame. Hit recovery in general is very nice. I think we're actually overdoing it a little bit, but maps do tend to have negative hit recovery. That's nice when you don't have insanely high block, and also when your res might be bad, so that is kind of good, like on this build, for instance. Block otherwise takes precedent. Of course, we do have some block rate from water walks. We also have it from the weapon block skill on the tree, so it's going to feel pretty good. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. You want as much lightning pierce as possible. That's why we have a lot of elemental pierce and as many plus skills as well. So you're going to get very high numbers on that Claws of Thunder skill. Alright, and then of course, beyond all that, let's go to the skills. I have 1 point in a blade shield just for some extra leech. Which reminds me, I'm actually, I'm gonna go a version of the build that's even higher damage and less tankiness. So I actually don't really have leech except on Volcathos, so I'll leech a little bit with that, but we're actually gonna go even higher damage with Thunder Gods. I forgot to put that on, so my stats are actually kind of messed up a little bit, but it is what it is. I'll just go with that. Yeah, we'll just go it. We'll wing it a little bit. Max Claw and Dagger Mastery. Max Claws of Thunder. Max the Dragon Claw Synergy. Make sure you have at least 1 point in Dragon Flight, which you will have if you use the Stalker's Cold Claw. And then of course, max that out. I put extra points in a weapon block. Faster block rate is good, but the block's good. It doesn't quite hit 32. I could have, though, if I put less points in a warrior, or maybe 1 less point in a burst of speed. But yeah, then I could have hit it without water walks. But water walks is good because it gives a lot of life, especially with the dex. But you could also go with movement speed on Merman Sprocket. There's a lot of things you can do. And then Shadow Warrior, maxing that out. We're gonna have 2 warriors because I'm gonna wear the new claw, Whispering Mirage, which is gonna allow us 2 warriors, which will help out a little bit with damage, but honestly, in mapping, they're not crazy strong with the damage. It's more of a thing against single targets, but it does help with the damage a little bit. They will copy whatever skill you have bound to left or right click. Which is an interesting fact. Like, for instance, if I put Fists of Fire on here, they would actually copy that, which is kind of cool, but that's not very necessary. You could use Blades of Ice and they'd copy that and do some extra cold damage, which is actually a neat thing. I didn't do that in this version of the build, but that is an option. Especially if you're using 2 shadows like we are here. So if you guys don't know, you get an extra shadow for every one of these. Also, Full Nats gives you an extra shadow, so some mid-game options there are pretty sick. But yeah, basically that. Of course, Cloak of Shadows can be good in very bad situations as you jump into the monsters, but that's kind of about it for that. And that's pretty much it there. Now the Mercenary and Golem. So the Golem's an Infinity Iron Golem. We can do this to some extent on this build. It actually helps our attack rating a lot, but the main thing is that we got all these, we got a Merc, we got 2 shadows. The Golem is not going to take that much damage. It should actually be able to survive, and I showed this on a Novasorc because the Novasorc does so much damage, but this one also does damage, but sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. That's why some minions are going to be pretty instrumental here. Mercenary, I believe this is just a Defiance one for max tankiness. If you're lacking AR though, you can definitely go Blessed Aim. And then of course the survivability damage stuff. Sigurd's Staunch is incredible for the Mercenary. Also can be very good for you. If you want to use it over skills, very good hardcore option for instance. Innocence is gonna, the Blade Shield is going to proc Taunt, which will help the monsters not attack us as often as well, so also good for the Iron Golem. And then you have Storm Spire. So the reason why you would use an Infinity Iron Golem on a Lightning build is because you can also get Static Field. Now, there's other ways to get Static Field. Definitely. Lots of ways. I wouldn't recommend them though. But yeah, there's definitely other ways. I think Crescent Moonclaw early game does that as well, so actually a really good thing. And of course attack speed will help to proc it in addition to this. Storm Spire honestly doesn't really need the Innocence because it attacks so fast and because it has the static field and striking 75%. So, but to be fair, it helps out a little bit as well. So it's just kind of an optimized build at this point. There we go. Gear, Stalker's Coal helps to get the Dragonflight cooldown down so you can chain between monsters faster. In general, this is going to improve your mapping speed most of the time. You could go like a Godly Craft Claw or something, but losing that stat is pretty rough. even with the loss of the 2 skills, this is still pretty bis, and I've tested it quite a bit already this season. This does give you 2 skills, though. And, well, it seems like it's mostly used for Mind Blast, which it is. I do plan on making that video next, actually. It is, which makes Mind Blast so much better. Use 2 of these, actually. You can get 3 shadows. It's a lot of fun. Or you could use 1 and you can use Shadow Killer, but the negative Fizz Res is pretty sick for that, so it's very nice. Anyway, you have Metal Grid for the Iron Golem, Griffin's Eye, maximum lightning damage, maximum deeps, 2 skills plus more lightning damage. Kind of hard to get away from that. Also some survivability. CBF there. Lots of martial builds. Definitely like BK Ring. It's nice leech, particularly with the shield and everything. And then you got T-Gods, Wisp Projector, 220 gloves helping out with that attack speed. You kind of need these actually to some extent. Even giving us some res. And then there's lots of options for the boots, but those boots are pretty solid. You can even go lots of rare boots, honestly, on this build. As long as you're getting 32 block rate. 32 block rate is golden on the Assassin, and then you're good to go. It's going to feel nice to map with that. And then, of course, martial skills, and then life and all res. Alright, you bet you're wondering, how does this perform? Well, let's check it out. Let's check her out. Check them out. Let's see. That actually does lower your block now. Oh, oops. I did not want to make the map. Dang, not finding a good map very fast here. Ah, no. Actually, I think I'm going to do Canyon as well. It looks really cool to do in Canyon. Despite all the snakes and everything, it's pretty sick. And like I said, I think I've said in other builds at this point, the decrep isn't nearly as oppressive, so Canyon is very doable on lightning and cold builds now. It's not nearly as bad as it once was. Melee splash and open wounds might be a death sentence for your Iron Golems, so you might want to avoid that if you are running an Iron Golem. This is really Rolls Royce, though. I mean, you don't need the Storm Spire. You know, it's just like it gives us that extra oomph in a lot of cases. It's pretty good. I like oomph, so. I would totally run that if it wasn't for the fact that it is very likely to kill my golem. Jesus, we're striking out. Trying to get some decent stats to show this off without problems here. Wow, melee splash on every map. Let's. Alright, this one. This one will work. It doesn't have the highest density, but it'll work for the first test. Not test, sorry. I'm so used to saying the word test. Been in the lab too long, man. In the lab way too long this season. That has some open wounds, but it doesn't have a lot. You know, that might be fine. We'll see. It might be fatal, though. Rip Iron Golem. Well, we'll find out. Alright, anyway. Let's do it. Some demos. Demos for the fun. Demos for the funsies. Let's do this. Okay. Alright, kills all in 20 seconds. Let's go. Look how fast this kills things. It just murders. You see why Stalker's Coal is good, though? I love the Thunderstorm effect. It's so good. Glad I can finally show this off in one of my videos. It does help weaken the monsters quite a bit. It's not going to kill them outright, but that's what Claws of Thunder is for, but it's amazing. Now you could also use Dragon Claws. It is max synergied here, but I don't know. I kind of just prefer to spam click it. I think Dragon Claw is a bit more involved. Can maybe optimize the boss damage with Dragon Claw. Some real nerds or something can do that. Let's see. Oh yeah, lost a warrior. It's because I bowed. That's right. Warriors do help with damage a little bit. You would think they would help more, but there's a little bit of a delay before they attack. So like, watch. I'll teleport in here, and you'll see the shadows will actually do it. Look at that. The shadows are killing the cows. It's amazing. But you'll also notice that they're a little clunkier, right? Whereas if I just jump in and cast it myself, it's quite a bit better.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
So yeah. Pretty sick stuff. Pretty sick. There you go. There the cows flattened, man. Yeah, just gotta keep chaining it as much as possible and you'll be good to go. You could even still go 2 stalkers, by the way. I think you might you started losing a lot of damage fast though, and since I am using the Iron Golem approach, that extra shielding is nice. You'll notice that he doesn't really die, so I mean, that's the goal, so. There we go. Not fully buffed. Did I even have a blade? Did I even have a whatchamacallit last map? I don't know. It felt a little slow, sluggish. Fucking burst of speed. I don't even know if I had that, honestly. As you can see, Canyon is so much smoother now, man. Such a good change to the Oblivion Knights. They don't cast the decrep as often, and even when they do, it's But you can see though that the snakes are kind of nasty. Iron Golem took a little bit of damage there for a second. I'd say the biggest risk on this build though, given that it's highly focused on damage, it's probably yourself dying, not the golem. If you die, the golem also dies, so. And on hardcore, if you die, well, you know, it doesn't matter. You're dead too, so. Everything's dead. It's all gone. Infinity's gone. Everything's gone. It's all gone. So, yeah. It's all gone. Pepperoners. But you can see, even with decrep, it's not that bad anymore. You know, it hurts a bit, but you know, 2 frames right now. We're down a frame, but oh well. Not down 2 frames though. You know, it was really bad before. River of Blood will be a lot better like this too, and of course it's a tier 2 map at the moment in the current rotation, so I want to show these builds off as strong as they possibly can be in those tier 3 maps. But yeah, anyway, that's Claws of Thunder Assassin. She is a beast. Absolutely obliterates. Well, you guys enjoyed this mini guide and demo. Let's do Uber Ancients real quick if we can, for fun. And yeah, see you guys May 16th, 10 PT, for the launch of Season 11 Prosperity. And of course, also see you guys for the live tier list on Twitch, twitch.tv, Dark Humility. Check him out, he's a good guy. Does this Mad Lab thing, you know. goes kind of crazy with the testing every season. Oh wow. Okay. This isn't that impressive against these, and the Iron Golem died, so. Yeah, I think the problem is, well, even if I used Dragon Claw, it might have helped a little bit. I think the problem was you have no lightning res. You have 60 light res, so I was dying. But even then, the Iron Golem doesn't survive massive amounts of LE damage. Maddock puts that out, so that's kind of nasty stuff. Anyway, no Iron Golem, but otherwise, if you get your light res up, no problem. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you guys are inspired to make these awesome builds. Let's get it. Dark Humility over and out.